It took me a long time and most of the world to learn what I know about love and fate and the choices we make, but the heart of it came to me in an instant, while I was chained to a wall and being tortured. I realized somehow, through the screaming in my mind, that even in that shackled, bloody helplessness, I was still free, free to hate the men who were torturing me, or to forgive them. It doesn't sound like much, I know, but in the flinch and bite of the chain, when it's all you've got, that freedom is a universe of possibility. And the choices you make between hating and forgiving can become the story of your life. In my case, it's a long story and a crowded one. I was a revolutionary who lost his ideals in heroin, a philosopher who lost his integrity in crime, and a poet who lost his soul in a maximum security prison. When I escaped from that prison, over the front wall, between two gun towers, I became my country's most wanted man. Luck ran with me and flew with me across the world to India, where I joined the Bombay Mafia. I worked as a gun runner, a smuggler, and a counterfeiter. I was chained on 3 continents, beaten, stabbed, and starved. I went to war. I ran into enemy guns, and I survived while other men around me died. They were better men than I am, most of them, better men whose lives were crunched up in mistakes and thrown away by the wrong second of someone else's hate or love or indifference. And I buried them too, many of those men, and grieved their stories and their lives into my own. But my story doesn't begin with them, or with the Mafia. It goes back to that first day in Bombay. Fate put me in the game there. Luck dealt me the cards that led me to Carla Saranen, and I started to play it out, that hand, from the first moment I looked into her green eyes. So it begins, this story, like everything else, with a woman, and a city, and a little bit of luck. So begins what has to be one of my favorite books of all time, and that first page can be read as a sort of overture to the novel SHANTARAM by Gregory David Roberts. SHANTARAM is a semi-autobiographical novel, or roman éclair to be exact. That is, a novel in which real people and events appear with invented names. SHANTARAM is a sweeping saga of a tortured soul's search for meaning and redemption. Its uniqueness is due in large part because of the extraordinary life led by its author. In short, Gregory David Roberts was a heroin junkie who, to support his addiction, turned to bank robbing. He was caught and imprisoned and sentenced to 19 years in a maximum security prison. He escaped from that prison somehow, managing a daring daylight escape and becoming the most wanted man of his nation at that time. I think it was 1979. After escaping, he secured himself a fake passport and fled to India, to the city of Mumbai, then known as Bombay, and that is where the story begins. Traveling under the alias of Lindsay Ford, the protagonist immediately befriends Prabhakar, the little Indian with the big smile, as Roberts calls him. I must say this Prabhakar is probably one of the most endearing characters I've come across in modern fiction. I think you'll love him too. At any rate, Prabhakar guides Lindsay, which he insists on shortening to Lynn, through the utterly alien world that is India, including Prabhakar's home village, where Lynn is assigned the nickname Shantaram, which means man of peace. But mostly Prabhakar guides Lynn through the Byzantine world of Mumbai, from the gutters of the slums to the glitter of Bollywood. The city is so well and so richly detailed that it can fairly be considered to be the novel's other main character. Robert's love for India and her people infuses every line of his masterful prose. Before long, you too may find yourself falling in love with the subcontinent and its many splendid peoples. Lynn's acclamation to his new world is fraught with a great many fish-out-of-water scenes, some of them so funny I couldn't help but laugh out loud. There are other scenes so leaden with pathos, so sobering in their frank portrayal of the often and suddenly brutal realities of life in a city where so many people are packed so tightly into so little real estate that one can't be but unsettled by reading them. Some of these episodes are just downright tragic. So tragic they will break your heart and may even wrench a tear or two from your eyes. In between the comedy and the tragedy, there is plenty of thought-provoking philosophizing on the nature of love, beauty, truth, and et al. All that is delivered through a diamond-bright dialogue with interlocutors, both native and foreign, with beggars and hustlers, holy men, mujahideen, a band of European expats which can be charitably described as of mixed morals, and with a philosopher gangster known as Kater Bai. All of these people are so exquisitely drawn, it could be called a sin to call any of them minor characters. Like all great novels, Shantaram is a book one is happy to be lost in, and so I heartily recommend it. Until next time, this is Carlos Carrasco signing out. Ciao.